and begin to look at what my game of the year is going to be. I don't exactly know. I honestly have a lot of games I didn't finish, so I'm going to be spending this month really going back and playing a lot of games that I just didn't have a chance to get to. Borderlands 3 is going to be at the top of my list. Me and my wife are going to co-op through that game, and she's agreed to tag alongside and to binge it with me, so I'll be reporting back on that hopefully in the next week. Speaking of games, let's get into the meat of the podcast, specifically the games I'm playing. This segment is a report on the games that I, the Bard, am playing, and of course anything that I'm going to be creating around the game itself. But these impressions are going to be for you to help you kind of get an idea of what the game is, and then you'll be able to formulate whether or not the game is for you. As far as games I've completed that I'm going to be writing reviews on, I've already started to write reviews on, in fact. Let's start with the big one, the big boy of this fall for me, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Now, if you have seen me on Twitter at any point, you will know that I love Star Wars Jedi. I have been ranting and raving and absolutely gushing about this game because of its appeal to me. You know, I want to state first and foremost that this is not a perfect game, and you'll see that in my review. Unfortunately, there's a lot of technical errors and issues that I think that the game got pushed out a little bit early. It probably could have used more time to even expand some of the concepts that it has. It feels like a complete game, but at the same time, if you look at the timeline and what happened with EA, it almost feels like they were forced to put out a Star Wars game to appease Disney, to not lose their license of using this, and the responsibility fell on Respawn. And the powerful thing is that they were able to deliver. They gave us this fantastic game. But I do think that the game suffered in its own way in the rush because it's a little bit smaller than you might expect. It's only probably 15 to 20 hours, depending on your skill level. Other games in its vein, just to give an idea, are often 40, maybe even 60 hours. So it's certainly a little bit shorter. And then on top of that, with all the different technical errors, it just feels like it wasn't quite ready. Nonetheless, I'm more than happy to be a quote-unquote playtester for this freaking game because it is amazing. Now, this is a gamer's game, and again, I don't want to give away too much because I'll have my review out and you'll be able to read my thoughts there, but I just want to say more than anything, if I wanted to summarize what this game has meant in my impressions thus far to me, is that this is a video game that fully captures what it means to be a Jedi. And that is powerful because we haven't experienced that in video game form in decades, I would say. There hasn't been a great Star Wars game in so long, and there is a power and a poise to Jedi that I think most games haven't, even like the Force Unleashed games, I think almost immediately have failed to capture. Those kind of show the raw power of the Force, I would say, and they're great in that way. But a Jedi has a little bit more nuance to it, and this game really captures that not only in its story, but also in the gameplay itself. You can even see the difference in the game itself when you walk into a room of stormtroopers. A regular dude is just going to flail his lightsaber around and probably get his butt kicked by these stormtroopers. Surprisingly, this game is very difficult. A big trait of mine that I love, but I understand is going to actually push a lot of people who maybe don't game very often, casual gamers who are interested in a Star Wars game, might have a difficult time and may want to drop this game to a lower difficulty. But the difficulty to me is incredibly appealing because I love me a hard game. And the fact that these stormtroopers are even putting up such a difficult fight and giving you these nuanced battles of back and forth make you feel like a Jedi if you pull it off with poise, if you actually think about what you're doing as you swing your sword, your light sword. You can pull off some great feats, and the difference between a flailer and a Jedi is clear in those moments. So be looking out for my review on Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. it's a fantastic game. Of course, I'm sure if you've been interested in the game, you've already got it. If you haven't, just let me tell you right now, get it. This is a once in a decade even Star Wars game, so I would recommend it to just about anybody. The second game that I'm going to be